All right, here we go. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. Thank goodness Beaver is here. Else there is no show. You don't hear it if he's not here. And look, most importantly, you are here. Glad you're here. Because if you're here, we got a reason to be on a Thursday in the Bureau. And I do think that it is full on time to make sure we know who's playing who and when and what time this weekend. And do some previewing and maybe a little picking. And we'll have time to do some of that tomorrow also. But get on in here and look. Yeah, okay. First of all, first point of order. If you're on the live stream, YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, feel free to drop a comment right there. It is live, y'all. You can't see me. The cameras and lights are not on in here. Excuse me. But it is a live show. And the deal is, you need to be thankful you can't see me. The reason I wasn't here yesterday, I had my ear operated on, cut on, sawed on. It's all bandaged up. I can't hear anything out of it. And I will just say to everybody, wear sunscreen, even preventatively. Just you young'uns, put it on. But anyway, so you wouldn't want to have to look at me right now. It's all gross looking and bandaged up and everything. So I'm here. This is a live show. If you comment right now at this very moment, middle of the day on a Thursday, on YouTube or Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, I will see your comment and I will be able to make it a part of the show, and you can join the conversation that way. So feel free to chime in. This is a live show here today on this Thursday. For example, right out of the chutes on YouTube over in Berlin, Germany, it's Sven who says, last Friday, a kid from Poplarville ran for 500 yards and 8 touchdowns, averaged 32 yards a carry. He says, we need this guy. Yeah, I mean, that's outstanding. I saw a note about that last week. And I didn't know what the level of competition was because, that accounts for something, but it's almost like those numbers are so big. I regret that I don't know the kid's name right now, but those numbers are so big. It's almost, it doesn't matter who they're playing. But 500 yards, 8 touchdowns. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, so the name is Ty Keys, as in give me the keys. Hale State fan on the YouTube live stream says his name is Ty Keys. Appreciate that. Yeah, so get on in here. We can talk it up that way on the live stream. We can also text on the Country Pleasing text line, and the number to text the show is 885-3776. That's a 601 number, 885-3776. The Country Pleasing text line. And you can also call me on the it's not anymore, the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. The number to call is 897-1059. It's a 601 number, 897-1059. Real unnamed texter text the show, Country Pleasing text line, says, yay, he is back. I am. I'm back. If you're referring to me, then yeah, I'm back on the radio today. Yeah. Yeah, look, I didn't know. Yesterday, it was one of those where I went to the dermatologist. I had this appointment where they're going to cut on my ear. And I thought I had time. I have to go about an hour away. And I thought I had time. And they didn't run over. It's just that it took longer. And finally, it was like close. It was already about the time that I would have to get on the road in order to get back to the studio in time to get on the radio. And I was laying there, and they had just stuck the needles in and put the numbing whatever that is. And they were waiting for it to kick in so they could start sawing away at it. And at that moment, I realized I'm not going to make it. I called Beav from, it's not the operating table. It's the chair. It's a dermatologist. If you ever been to the dermatologist, you're in a chair. They can lean it back and lay you down. They put the light on you and stuff. That's what they had me. I'm laid back. They've stuck the needles in there, making it where I can't feel anything. And then they put that bright light on you. They're fixing to get to work. And that's why I called Beaver from that. I said, hey, they're about to get started. I'm not going to make it. So that's my excuse. But paramedic Jay texted the show, and he says, so what really happened was you lost a bet and got an inner ear piercing. Wait a minute. Is that a thing? I should probably just assume it is. They'll pierce anything. Everybody's getting everything pierced, right? So inner ear, what would be the point of that? What's the point of that? But no, thankfully that it's not it. It might have felt the same. I might be experiencing today the same thing that someone who gets that experiences the day after. Yeah, and that's the worst thing too, is like it's my left ear, and that's the one I sleep on. So I had to sleep opposite. You have a certain way you sleep, and if you ever have to sleep a different way, you don't sleep well. Habits and all kicking in. Anyway, that's kind of the way it was for me last night. So I'm kind of out of it today. I'll just admit it. But I'm in a good mood. We're getting closer and closer to football. You have games to watch tonight if you choose. And we got some high school games going on. Also, but you got college games on TV. You have an NFL game tonight. So, pretty much sports weekend is upon us. But I have bigger fish to fry right now, real quick, with an old pal, Beav, because, when I called Beaver to tell him I was on the table, they were about to get to cutting on me yesterday, and I wasn't going to make it on the show. That's not the only time I called him. I called him shortly thereafter also. Hey, Beav, happy Thursday. Glad to be back with you here on the air.
Matt Wyatt, I got to tell you, obviously I knew you were calling from the dermatologist, but I didn't know at the time that you were actively numbed up.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Like it's a 2-part process, right? When they're going to operate on you, they go in there, they stick you 3-4 times, whatever it takes to put that numbing, what do they call it? Anesthesia, make it go to sleep. You can't feel a thing. And then they wait for that to kick in. Then they go to cutting on you. And I will say too, this is going to gross everybody out. But anybody's ever been to the dermatologist where they may have to remove some skin cancer or something, and they have to sew you up and that kind of stuff. Well, it's one thing if it's your arm or some appendage. It's a whole different experience when they're doing that, Beaver, and it's in your ear because you can hear everything really well. It was a little bit odd. But anyhow, yeah, I was laid on my side when I called you because I knew this ain't going to be over in time. But shortly thereafter, Beaver, I went and got lunch at Chick-fil-A, and I had a whole new experience because I told them I wanted chips instead of fries, and they go, well, you want regular chips or Chick-fil-A chips? Well, Beaver, I had never heard that before in my life. Nobody's ever said that to me at any Chick-fil-A anywhere. So I thought, well, this, I'm trying to piece it together in my head without asking a million questions. So I just assumed they meant like, some like another brand of just plain old potato chips, like Lay's or something. And then the Chick-fil-A chips, normally what they give. I said, well, Chick-fil-A chips, but that's not it. Chick-fil-A has a different kind of chips they're offering. I get the bag out, and I looked at the bag, and it said Chick-fil-A sauce flavored chips, waffle chips, with a Chick-fil-A logo on it. Beaver, before I even opened the bag, my first thought was about you. I'm not kidding. Annabeth and I were in the car, and my first comment was, give me my phone. I got to call Beaver and tell him about this. And then I ate one, and it was actually really good. And then I called you, and Beav, your reaction kind of surprised me too, because, it was not, it was not even a question. You were going to run out and get some at some point yesterday as soon as you heard about them, right?
Yeah, you buried it in my brain.
So tell me what happened.
Okay. So you know that certain things I'm very suggestible. Like, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, well, we know what it means, so it'll work.
Yeah, it'll work. So certain things like this has happened before, where you mention a food and like if it's I don't know, it gets stuck in my brain sometimes. So much so that yesterday when you brought this up, I told you, I said, well, I'm going to get some today. Mm-hmm. Now here's the thing. I very, very, very rarely go to Chick-fil-A because it's not one of my favorites. Quite honestly, I kind of view Chick-fil-A as overrated.
Okay. All right.
But this news of this new invention, this new chip invention, something about it piqued my curiosity so hard that I did indeed go last night.
Did it pique your interest because you like Chick-fil-A sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured, because everybody likes it. Okay, so you went last night. Then later, y'all, I get a text last night from Beaver, just a little bit before bedtime, and it's his left hand holding a bag of Chick-fil-A sauce flavored waffle potato chips. And I've had to wait until today to find out, Beaver, what you actually thought of them. So give it to me. What was your take?
Matt Wyatt, these chips are some good chips. Mm-hmm. Now, it didn't give me full Chick-fil-A sauce feelings. Okay. Like it took a little while to really figure out what is this flavor.
Okay.
And the best way I could describe it, what I was getting was it was a very light barbecue taste.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I can go with that. I even, when I was eating them yesterday, Beaver, I even thought, okay, it's like a cross between barbecue sauce and like honey mustard type of flavor. Which that may be what Chick-fil-A sauce is, for all I know. I don't know. Well, but you put them in the good category. So they are good. They are good. And here's another thing. How did they slip that by us that they started serving these? How did I miss that? I had not even heard it.
Yeah, I just out of nowhere. And you're a Chick-fil-A regular.
We go regularly. And I was super confused when on the intercom she goes, "You want regular chips or Chick-fil-A chips?" I'm immediately thinking, well, I mean, I want the chips I always get at Chick-fil-A. And that's not what they meant. Okay, y'all, you heard that. You know they're pretty decent if Beaver gives them one thumb up. So the new Chick-fil-A sauce flavored chips. So there you go, Chick-fil-A. Free advertising for you. That's like you really need it. Let's see here on the country pleasing text line. Jason in Flagstaff says, "I saw your picture on Twitter. I hope all went well in the surgery, but truly inspired by the hair. As a fellow bald guy on top, I can't stand the Brillo pads on the sides and the back. I salute you." That's kind of what I have. It's just, it's laziness, Jason. I'm too lazy to go through the process of having to shave close often. I do not have the patience for that. And so I just have a set of clippers with a number 2 guard, and, just every so often I clean it up and roll. So it's really laziness more than anything else. Kenny, don't call me Ken, wants to know, he says, are you listed as questionable or available for Saturday? I'm definitely available. Definitely available. It's a little iffy. I mean, I can only hear out of one ear. But I'll be there. Nick says, what did he say? Nick says, it sounds to me like you're an What? Dermtite? It says, next thing you know, you'll be saying they should have their own schools. No, I'm not at all. No, I'm not. I love the dermatologists. I'm for them. I mean, more than anybody, more than any other group of people on the face of the earth, Nick, dermatologists themselves tell people to wear sunscreen and to wear big hats, cover yourself up. And it's true. I didn't as a young person. I'm paying for it now. Regular trips, constantly getting cut on and sewn up, constantly. Paying for it now. Make your decisions. Do what you want. It's what I did. And now I'm paying for it. That's how it goes. It's like anything else, whether it's saving money or whether it's, I don't know, anything. That saying that my dad uttered years ago, I'd never forgotten. You're supposed to sacrifice in the short term to benefit in the long term. And when it comes to taking care of my skin out in the sun, I didn't do that. So I paid no attention to it in the short term as a young'un coming up. And now in the long term, I'm really paying for it. Oh, yeah, I saw this too. I mean, that's tough news. Hail State fan. D.D. Lewis passed away. Great Mississippi State Bulldog, longtime linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. Passed away over the last couple of days. And he said D.D. Lewis played high school ball at Knoxville Fulton. Great ball player, very nice human being. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. A really nice guy for sure. And Jay on Facebook said, make plans to go to the Tupelo game next weekend. Community tailgate, playing West Point. Hey, look. What? Are they your two best teams in the state? They're obviously two defending state champs in different divisions. They play each other all the time. But, even this year, the early returns may be that those are your two best teams in the state. Okay, Nick, sorry. Look, you cannot depend on me to get a Seinfeld reference. You really can't. In fact, for your own sake, Nick, because you're so fluent in Seinfeld trivia, and Beaver is as well. Beaver will get it. But the problem is I'm the loudmouth, and so I'll get in here and I'll read your text on the air before talking to Beaver and make a fool out of myself. So you ought to really address them to Beaver. So instead of for example, that text there sounds like to me you're an anti-dermtite or whatever that is. You should have said Beav. Sounds like to me Matt is that way, because then you'd be talking to somebody who can get all the Seinfeld references. And I swing and a miss on about 8 out of 10. John in Rolling Fork says, Matt, you got my interest up in those chips, but there's not a Chick-fil-A within an hour of me. Yeah. Well, John, I guess it'll just be the next time you get an opportunity, right? I would say go for it. I think you'll like them. If Beaver tells you they're good, they're good. I say they're good, and I agree with him. Headlines.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank right here in Mississippi. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. That's mortgagemanms.com. Look at this. Why are we doing this? Headline number one. According to sources, Kansas and Arizona State are in discussions about moving their game next year to Wembley Stadium in London. Right now, the game is tentatively scheduled, easy for me to say, for September the 19th of next year. A year away. They're going to have to move the schedules around, to make sure that they can go over there and play this game on British soil. Why are we doing this? Anybody interested in that? The other question is, if it was your team, do you care? You want to go to London, play a football game? Stupid. Downright stupid. Headline number two. College football is officially moving to a single offseason transfer portal window. They announced that yesterday up there at the NCAA. Division I Administrative Committee. I mean, they got a million committees, man. And they all got these big, long names, and nobody knows what they do. Division I Administrative Committee. They voted to approve a change that's going to eliminate the spring transfer window. However, in terms of the dates for the other window, they didn't actually sign off on what the dates are. It's been proposed to them, and long has been the same January 2nd through the 11th, leaving it there as the only portal window you get to get in and transfer and that kind of thing. If that's what they're going to do, it will solve some of the issues that teams and coaches that fan bases have been lamenting so much here, and that is always going in and coming out. Players even coming in one window, go through spring practice, and then leave after that. That'll solve all that as far as what the dates will be, but I think it's a good thing. All right, those are your headlines, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank. Just getting started on this Thursday. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Stick around.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I know a thing or two about the value of a strong team. Farm Bureau works hard to get me through thick and thin. They've got exceptional customer service and competitive insurance rates that keep me protected. If you aren't already on the team, it's time to join Farm Bureau. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance, or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
Football is back, and if you want in on the action, Underdog is your spot. Choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You can get in with as little as $1. Hit your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week, I'm watching the Cowboys take on the Bears. I like Dak Prescott higher than 2 touchdown passes, and CD Lamb higher than 85 receiving yards. I'm also keeping an eye on the Chiefs versus the Bengals. Give me Patrick Mahomes higher than 3 touchdown passes. That's my pick. What's yours? Ready to play? Download the Underdog app. Sign up with promo code THEZONE. Play your first $5 and we'll drop $50 in bonus funds into your account. That's promo code THEZONE. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See asset.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Taste Italian Kitchen is open at the Renaissance at Colony Park, and they've been voted Best Italian and Best Pizza in Mississippi. Come try their award-winning pizzas, USDA prime steaks, lobster ravioli, lemon chicken piccata, fresh-made desserts, and find out why taste is likely to become your new go-to for lunch, dinner, and private parties. Make your reservations now at tasteitaliankitchen.com and come taste for yourself.
Here at Hallmark Hyundai in Flowood, Mississippi, we want to ease the pain of maintaining your vehicle. Simple, fast, and affordable. Tell them about it, Tiny.
This month, we are giving everyone free alignment checks for all makes and models. A full synthetic oil change and tire rotation for only $59.99. And to help you maintain your fuel economy, a fuel service for only $139.99.
Find us at 4200 Lakeland Drive in Flowood, Mississippi. High value, low cost, no stress. All can be found at Hallmark Hyundai Flowood on Lakeland Drive.
Football coaches, stop scribbling notes in the press box. IQ Sports brings advanced analytics to high school football, live in real time. See what's working.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You know, You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early.
1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team. Get on in here. Anything goes. Jason in Flagstaff, he texted us. He said, agree with Beaver about that. Chick-fil-A is obscenely overrated, except for the service and consistency between stores. Says I'd never go there. How about that? He don't like it. My favorite thing there is a yogurt. Isn't that silly? That is my favorite thing there. Possum Neck Joe says, people who have had Chick-fil-A in the last 10 to 15 years have no idea how good it was. In the 70s through the 90s were the heyday, real oil and lard with great flavor and literally twice the size they are now. So, yeah, they started out big and then the company grew, the margins grew and the product didn't. Is that what you're saying? Well, tell you though, that service, they do get you in and get you out. Let's say it like it is. They really do. Get you in and get you out. What do y'all think about the games this weekend? All right, so I missed the show with y'all yesterday. At the doctor, back with you today. And so we'll make up a little ground here. I need to, because I got to get a little more familiar with who and what, when, and where. There's a game tonight. We get a game tonight? Yeah, good old-fashioned Thursday night football on the acronym Rice and Charlotte. Oh, man. Rice and Charlotte tonight. Okay. Interested in that? Friday games. Yep. 2 college games tomorrow. Also, you get Oklahoma State hosting Tulsa. They are combined 2-3. And then you get Iowa and Rutgers tomorrow night. All right. What about the NFL? Oh, yeah, tonight. Bills and Dolphins, little AFC East matchup up there in Buffalo. Dolphins are a big fat 0-2. And the Bills are going to have a quarterback healing up a broken nose. 0-2 versus 2-0. The Bills. Is this finally going to be the year that the Bills break through and win a Super Bowl? Finally? I don't know. Let's see. What time are the Cowboys? The Cowboys are going to play at 3 on Sunday. 3:30. Play a 3:30 Fox game. Chiefs and Giants and Sunday Night Football. Ah, you go. I have to say, I thought, as I was watching the Giants this past weekend and Russell Wilson throwing all those long touchdown passes, I did have the thought, well, shoot. I said Jackson Dart was going to get their starting job at some point, but if Russell Wilson keeps that up, it might not be this year. I don't know. All right, back to the college stuff. So, game tonight, 2 there tomorrow, and then we get the whole slate of things. So let's look at the SEC for Saturday. All right, here we go. Chronologically, you ready? When should we pick them, by the way? Should we pick them tomorrow? Or just go ahead and do it today? Which one it ought to be? Today? Tomorrow? Chronologically, here we go. Saturday morning, 11 a.m., ABC. It's Arkansas at Memphis. I believe it was, I hope I'm giving credit to where it's due. I think it was Andre who either called or texted. I think he texted in a couple of days ago. Might have been last week. He said, hey, calling it now. Look out for Memphis. They're going to beat Arkansas. Memphis is 3-0, but Arkansas is a little tiny bit better than a touchdown favorite at Memphis this Saturday, 11 a.m. Memphis has already beaten Chattanooga at home, 45-10. They've won back-to-back road games at Georgia State and at Troy. Last week at Troy was pretty impressive, 28-7. We know about Arkansas, high-flying offense. It just couldn't stop Ole Miss last week. Arkansas 2-1 with the loss last week. Favorite on the road at Memphis. I don't know. Yeah, I think my gut tells me it's bounce back for Arkansas and that they go win. You know, play well and win. I don't know what Memphis is going to do. My gut just tells me Arkansas will go there and win. Let's see. 11:45 on the SEC Network. You get Tennessee and UAB. That'll be just like a little tune up there. Tennessee will just be trying to get her done and stay healthy coming out of that. Little tune up before they hit the road to go to state next weekend. All right, here's a biggie. 2:30 ABC. Auburn and Oklahoma. Both 3-0. Little drama. Oklahoma's quarterback last year is Auburn's quarterback this year. That whole thing. Don't you think Oklahoma's just better? Probably. I do. So I'll say Auburn gets their first loss. It's on the road at Oklahoma. And then we'll get to hear. Oh, yeah, look, and if that kid for Oklahoma plays well, and I know he's been pretty good, but if he plays well in this game and they win, just get ready. You get to hear an earful of Heisman this and Heisman that before we've even watched a bunch of teams play good teams. We get to hear all that, so just get ready for it. Same time, 2:30 on the acronym on Saturday, you get Ole Miss and Tulane. And you would think Ole Miss wouldn't have too much trouble winning that, but Tulane's not bad. And they played them well. What was it? Was it last year? Or was it 2 years ago at Tulane in New Orleans? Can't remember. It's recent. Tulane beat Northwestern 23-3 to start the year. Went to Mobile and beat South Alabama 33-31 week 2. And beat Duke by a touchdown last week, 34-27. You know, my thoughts are, you know, if you're giving up an average of 30 points to South Alabama and Duke, then how many points do you think Ole Miss is going to score? 60 at home? That'll be a blowout. That'll be a blowout right there. 3:15 is the State and Northern Illinois game. We've talked about it, previewed it. It's one that, I don't know, my gut tells me I do have some confidence about State winning the game somehow, some way. And there's a little bit of kind of like it was last week in that who cares, even if you win it by 1 point, as long as you come out of it healthy, right? With the stretch that you have coming up after that. So as far as a score, I don't know. Like, how do you do that? I think it'll be a lower scoring game than what some people expect for a couple of reasons. One is the kind of team you're playing. Northern Illinois, they are pretty good against the run, or at least they pride themselves, that way defensively, but they also run the ball a lot on offense. And they will run it with some success and stay on the field some and shorten the game some with the clock running, because they'll have some success running the ball against State, I would bet. So it'll shorten the game a little bit, I guess is what I'm saying. I still expect State to have the explosive plays on offense. That's just kind of seems to be who they are. But I think maybe overall it might be a little lower scoring than some people think. We'll see. But I think State will win the game. Missouri is hosting South Carolina Saturday night at 6, and I think I saw that South Carolina's quarterback is questionable, right? Or he He's banged up, I know that. So I like Missouri a lot. Their quarterback at home, they seem to have all the right vibes. He's pretty good. And so I like Missouri at home there. By, let's just say 10. Let's say Missouri wins it 24-14. How about that? Saturday night on ABC, the Gators of Florida go to Miami. I'm going to say upset. Florida's going to beat Miami 23-21. There you go. 23-21. Late field goal. Late field goal. Florida's going to be trailing 21-0. Kick a field goal, win it. Blowout in Nashville, Saturday night, 6:30. Vandy hosting Georgia State. Blowout in Baton Rouge, Saturday night on the SEC Network, LSU in southeastern Louisiana. And then it'll be Blowout City Saturday night on the Plus when Texas hosts Sam Houston, and they'll blow them out. So there's your ball games. Now, what did Sven say? Sven has these picks for games this weekend. He has Arkansas on upset alert and says Arkansas will survive Memphis by a field goal. Tennessee by a lot over UAB. He's got Oklahoma 45, Auburn 10. 45-10, Oklahoma over Auburn. He has Ole Miss on upset alert. Says Ole Miss is going to win a squeaker by 5 points. He has State whipping NIU 56-10. Missouri's going to blow out South Carolina, he says. Picked it 47-17, Missouri over South Carolina. He says Miami by a lot. Or he says Miami a lot, Florida not many. He believes Georgia State will upset Vanderbilt in Nashville. And he corrects me and says Texas will not blow out Sam Houston. And that's the way Sven sees it. How do you see it? Your text, your calls coming up in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. After this, stick around.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I can tell you firsthand how great new things can be. That's why the new auto and life insurance discount from Farm Bureau is so great. It's a new thing from the company that's been setting roots in Mississippi for over 75 years. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance. Or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
This portion of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg. Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg is your place for quality entertainment. Be at the End Zone Sportsbook, where you can not only play the game, but watch any sport you want year-round. Check out Bella's on the second floor. Also, the Heritage Buffet and Bourbon Steakhouse on the third deck. And don't forget about the Red Lotus Asian Cuisine on the bottom floor across from the End Zone. The Bottleneck Blues Ball on the weekend. So stay, play, and dine at Central Mississippi's premier gaming destination, Ameristar Casino Hotel. Gambling problem? Call 888-777-9696.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company. and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, but we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount.
1059.com.
All right. Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team. Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. So let's see. Did Sven and I agree on any of these games? Okay, we agreed on Oklahoma beating Auburn. I don't know. He said 45-10. I don't think it'll be that big. I think it'll be more competitive than that. We agreed on that. We agree on about, let's see, the 2 that we probably agreed on the most were Mississippi State and Missouri. But again, I got more competitive games in both. I like Missouri a lot against South Carolina, and obviously like State a lot against NIU, but like he picked State 56-10 over NIU, and he got Missouri 42-17 against South Carolina. So I don't know. And then our biggest disagreement, I had the biggest one probably, I had Vandy blowing out Georgia State. Is that in Nashville? It is, isn't it? Hang on, I got it right here. Got it right here. Yeah, it's in Nashville. He says Georgia State with the upset of Vandy. And then I said Texas will blow out Sam Houston, and he says they won't. But I guess the biggest disagreement would be that one. Oh, and I also picked Florida upset Miami. See what happens. Let's just see what happens. I do agree with that. Sven says that Tennessee will beat UAB by a minimum of 50. I do agree with that. And that's true. I mean, it's true. He says Georgia State is the SEC killer. You can ask Vandy and Tennessee and LSU. I mean, they have done more than throw up a challenge over the years. Well, the Vandy deal was last year too, wasn't it? Let's see. Drug Dog texted the show. He's quoting Yogi Berra. Nobody goes there anymore because it's too crowded. What about Chick-fil-A? Denzel texts. White Denzel says, if Memphis beats Arkansas Saturday, you can go ahead and get ready to say that Ryan Silverfield will be Arkansas's next head coach. So you think it's like a job interview going on. Mm-hmm. All right. Patrick texts and says, if Kiffin and Kelly were smart, Nussmeier and Simmons would not dress out on Saturday. So, Patrick, quarterback, you're saying that Simmons at Ole Miss, don't even worry about playing him against Tulane. And then Nussmeier for LSU against Southeastern Louisiana. Don't even dress them out. What do you make? I mean, but of the Ole Miss deal, I mean, is that going to be one of the whole Wally Pipp deal? You go to your backup and turns out he's really good. And man, they can flat out put an offense around a quarterback at Ole Miss too, but under Kiffin, we know that. So I don't know. I mean, certainly Nussmeier for LSU versus Selah. Wouldn't it be tempting to go about, I don't know, 2 series and call it a day for him? Robbie texted, said 45-10. He said, who is this guy getting picks out of a Cracker Jack box? Auburn will win this game. War Eagle, he says. I don't think so, Robbie. I'm afraid it'll be a little Boomer Sooner. It'll be a Boomer Sooner kind of day, I'm afraid, Robbie. Hey, but I also will say this, though. It may be a battle of the 2 best fight songs in the SEC. I think it might be. Hey, and inside lingo here, look, I'm down to one ear. Left ear not usable right now after that deal with the doctor yesterday. And I can't tell if y'all can hear this or not. Like, my bad ear is my right ear. That's the one I'm using. I got one earbud in today. So just then I couldn't really tell if you could hear me talking or you could only hear the music. I can't hear levels. So I'm sorry if I was if you like, what's he saying? Turn the music down or vice versa. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's an all-time fight song matchup. Robbie thinks his Auburn Tigers are going to go on the road up there to Oklahoma and win it. And maybe they will. Maybe they will. Now, look, Bama fan said that is pretty loud, Matt, talking about the music. But here's what I don't know. Bama fan could have an ulterior motive, and he's just telling me that because it was the Auburn fight song. You know how them Bama fans are. And we'll talk Monday, Robbie, and let me know. It wouldn't bother me one bit. I don't have a dog in the hunt. I just figured Oklahoma at home and all that. But the other, Robbie, look, man. If that quarterback I don't know, he's the one this year that they're all wanting to shove down, your throat as the Heisman guy. They pick 1 or 2 out every year and just go ahead and decide, okay, this is the guy we're after. We're going to promote him. As soon as he makes one decent play, it's highlight city, baby. They seem to be doing that for this kid at Oklahoma. Has Oklahoma, what's their best win? They're 3-0, all in the non-conference, against Illinois State, Michigan, and Temple. Well, that's pretty good. Win over Michigan's pretty good. How good is Michigan this year? Huh? They're not good? Against Michigan, this guy was 21 of 34, 270 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. And then 2 cupcakes, and he's the next coming, right? So if he plays reasonably well and Oklahoma does win, just get ready. And they're going to be telling you that he's the best thing. Believe him at your own risk, I guess. Jason in Flagstaff says, if Texas doesn't blow out a team that the Fighting Dan Mullins just pummeled, Old Arch is going to get benched. Well, yeah, that might happen, Jason. And I myself will pick up the phone and I'll try to call the Texas facility and tell him I want to talk to Arch, and I will tell him myself, Mr. Manning, you can be a quarterback in college and get benched and still live a happy life. I'm living proof. J-Rock says Georgia State played Ole Miss this year. Was it close? Did they? They already played each other. That's one of Ole Miss's 3 wins. Hang on, I'll tell you the score. It was a season opener, and it was 63-7. Yeah, Vandy's blowing them out. Vandy's going to blow them out, Sven. My man Sven. How can you not like Sven? He might be the most likable person on this show. That includes all of us. Hosts, producers, everybody. Kip texted the show, said with LSU's offense looking as bad as it has, there's no way I would want Nussmeier to go into Oxford even more off tempo. So you think they need to light it up, get a little confidence going. Like a golfer seeing the ball go in the hole. Somebody texted and thinks that Memphis is going to win a close game against Arkansas and signed Go Tigers. I'm telling you, I could see it. It's just one of those where part of me is like, okay, yeah, it's a back-to-back road game. You lose to Ole Miss last week, but it's a bit of a motivator type of loss. One of those you're just mad about. You're not down, you're mad about it. That's kind of how I feel Arkansas is. I think they'll play well. But I do think it'll be a competitive game. Kenny, don't call me Ken, said Auburn is going to get taken to the woodshed. When you really start thinking about it, that is a funny euphemism, isn't it? He took him to the woodshed. Patrick texts the show. Says, you have a solid backup, but they'll need Simmons 100% against LSU. Who starts that game, but keep them a short leash. Nussmeier had a torso injury, supposedly. Plus, LSU has 6 quarterbacks in the roster. Oh, that's right. They also, Patrick, have Michael Van Buren. I'd forgotten about that. So there's not even a reason to play their starter against Southeastern. Well, okay then. See, I guess I didn't realize that was part of this discussion also, is that Nussmeier's been a little banged up. If he's got some sort of bruised ribs or sternum or something going on, then absolutely 100% he's not playing in this game. I wouldn't have him in there. But, on the other hand, today's Thursday. If he walks out there today and goes, hey, listen, no swelling, I don't feel any pain, I'm 100%, then maybe he plays a few series, right? Maybe it goes that way. Hey, look at there. Hour 1 is in the books. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Hour 2 coming up. Staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C Spire, customer inspired. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
37. That's 800-578-1437. Tax relief
I'm
advocate.
Eddie Holcomb with Washington County Farm Bureau Insurance.
I'm Scott Rainwater with Farm Bureau Insurance here in Washington County.
I'm Blake Policini with Washington County Farm Bureau.
I'm Brian Street with Farm Bureau Insurance in Washington County, and we are your home team.
I think you know what time it is. It's time to eat. Country pleasing, jalapeno and cheddar, green onion. And no, it's not a grill, see that? But the fire is just about burnt down enough where it's time to put some of this on there. And the only decision when it comes to country pleasing sausage is which flavor, jalapeno and cheddar or maybe green onion. Both.
Break me off a piece of that.
Look at that. What that is. That's real green onion. Like that monkey who set his tail on a railroad track. It won't be long now. Country pleasing sausage, these flavors, and many, many others. Get them online at countrypleasing.com at a grocery store near you. Hey, all right, back with you. Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Who's going to win, Arkansas or Memphis at Memphis this weekend? Huh? What are your picks around the league, huh? Huh? Get them in here. Speak up. I'm going to come to your texts and your comments. My man Sven over there on the YouTube live stream, it's nighttime over there in Berlin, Germany, where he is. He's letting it fly. And also, y'all look, he's got a show. He mentioned it to us this week, but he's doing his own show, streaming it. And I didn't get to tune in, Sven, but I hope to catch it. Congrats on that. I hope it's going well. Anyhow, y'all get in here. This is a live show. I know the cameras are not on, so if you're on the live stream, Facebook or YouTube or X, it is a live show. It's just cameras and lights aren't on. Because I promise you don't want to look at me. You don't want to look at me right now. My old left ear, it's kind of, whew. Had it worked on yesterday. That's why I missed. And the joke was, actually, I told this to a buddy of mine, my friend Greg, who called me yesterday. And Beth and I were in the car. I said, what really happened was she said, shut up. I thought she said, stand up. But that's not it. It's the old sun itself. It does its thing over the years, all that baseball and, you know. Anyway, you don't want to hear about that, and you certainly don't want to look at me today. So cameras and lights are not on, but we're rolling live with you here today on the show. So comment that way. You can text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. That's a 601 number, 885-3776. And you can call me on the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. The number to call is 897-1059, 601 number, 897-1059, 897-1059. John in Rolling Fork said, leave your volume up, Matt. Some of us aren't spring chickens anymore. You want to make, all right, we'll just turn it up loud and make it easier on you, huh? While I'm at it, John, I'll come over to your house and turn your thermostat up to 80. Isn't that how we do it? You don't play poker anymore, do you? What do you play? Rook? You know what old dominoes. Bama fan says he thinks that the Florida State quarterback is going to win the Heisman. All right, then. Flowtown Ghost, is this real? He says the SEC is set to reveal the 2026 conference schedule and permanent rivals on September the 23rd. Starting next season, the SEC is going to have a 9-game schedule. Okay, so September 23rd, a week from today? No, that ain't right. What day is that? Yeah, Tuesday. Not today, not a week from today, but next Tuesday. Okay. What time that day? Because I'll be in the bureau down there in the home Farm Bureau Insurance Studio with Beaver. Jason in Flagstaff says, hype may be warranted for John Mateer. He was a monster on an otherwise terrible Washington State team last year. He says, I don't know about Heisman worthy, but he's definitely a legit pro prospect. Well, if that's true, Jason, then this is a tremendous opportunity for him, isn't it? This weekend. Auburn coming in. The former Oklahoma quarterback lining up for Auburn. Whew. And unnamed texter says, any Power 4 school that's hiring a coach and doesn't hire John Sumrall, they don't know ball. Who's that? Tulane? Do I have this right? Help me out. He was at Troy and then went to Tulane, or what? Where was he before that? But yeah. Good coach. Knows what he's doing. For sure. All right, let's head over to the phones. The Junction phone line. Here comes the train. Fueled by Prince Oil Company here in Mississippi. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. All right, on line one of the Junction phone, it's Rooster. What's up, Rooster?
Hey, you reckon anybody is anxious to hear Rooster's lock for the week?
Mm-hmm. Hey, remind me what your lock was last week and how it went.
Well, it was 35-10 was the prediction. 35-10 Ole Miss.
Okay.
And I actually won because I got a bump, but they were a 6.5 point favorite. I go, that's a lot. Well, it was.
Okay.
They only won by 6. They had to win by 7.
Okay.
So, but listen, this week is easy. Man, the bookers have got good old UAB, a 40-point underdog. Can you believe that? 40 points to Tennessee?
Yeah.
40 points? It's 39.5, actually.
So you're saying
No way.
Tennessee will not beat them by that margin?
No, you can't let that go. You got to bet UAB.
Yeah,
Come
but
on,
listen.
40
All
points.
right, hang on a minute, Rooster. Hang on a minute. I need an education. This is not me at all arguing with you because I don't know this stuff. But here's something that I don't grasp. Why, from a gambling standpoint, does it make sense to go, well, that's a very large predicted margin. You have to take an opportunity and bet your money on that. When in reality, there is absolutely a decent chance Tennessee could beat them 50-0. There's absolutely a chance they could do that. What I'm saying is I don't understand the gambling world taking actual cold hard cash and going, well, there's just a statistical opportunity over there, so you are responsible. You're obligated to bet it. I don't understand that thinking.
It's actuarial. I mean, there's the law of averages. I mean, UAB's giving up 45 points a game. Come on.
Yeah.
The law of averages says that they'll due for a change. And besides that, it's an ex-Bulldog quarterback coaching the team.
Oh, is it?
Trent Dilfer, who I happen to like. Okay. So I don't want to see Trent Dilfer get squashed. They could be 60-0.
They gave up.
But,
They gave up 42 to Alabama State in the season opener in a win.
Yeah.
And then they gave up 38 to Navy in a loss. And then they played Akron last week, Akron is Joe Moorhead's team, who couldn't offense their way out of a wet paper sack right now, and they still scored 28 against UAB last week.
I don't think they'd scored until last week, too. I think I'm right. I think they had or maybe one touchdown. But, yeah, you got to go with Trent Dilfer. He's a good guy. Super guy. We want UAB to cover.
You know what I'm gonna do?
And the other one is automatic.
What's that?
Oklahoma, Auburn. You always bet against 2-3. 6.5 points.
All right then.
6.5 points. Come on. No, they'll have 6.5 the first quarter.
Okay.
So that's a gimme.
All right.
So I think they made a mistake, but it's actuarial. It's the statistics. The law of averages. That's what it is.
Okay, I'll leave it to you. I don't, I'll leave it to you. I don't really understand it, but
I would have. The listening audience lost last week because Ole Miss didn't cover. They did not.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Imagine that.
And get that 6-point bump.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Betting on college football and not really knowing what's going to happen. Imagine that.
Well, I'm not betting anything but lunch money. Big deal.
Attaboy.
Got better sense than that. It's just conversation.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. No, but again, I find it so interesting. You were saying that for 3 weeks, UAB's defense has been so awful that the law of averages says they will have a chance to be much better this week. I mean, that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, in fact, Tennessee's got Mississippi State next week. They don't want to even get anybody hurt. So they're going to go back to that coach. And hopefully they'll take it easy on them. Hopefully they will.
All right.
Let's hope that's the deal.
Okay. I'll be interested to see what happens.
Be fired yet.
Yeah, I think he's pretty safe.
But anyway, if anybody is following, Rooster Lock started with a loss, so I've got to do better.
Okay. All right. We got it. Rooster's Lock, UAB and Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's a gimme.
Okay.
Go Sooners.
Appreciate it, Rooster.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
God bless you. Call me anytime. UAB because of Trent Dilfer, and Oklahoma because of Hugh Freeze. And that's Rooster's Locks for the week. Over here on the live stream, let me find it. Sven was talking about Arkansas. He said something else here. He said, here's my prediction, Matt. If Arkansas fires Pittman, he will go back to Georgia and coach O-line, and that would mean game over for the rest of the SEC. Says we better wish that Pittman stays in Fayetteville. Blind Squirrel, who's a Georgia fan, said Pittman built the Great Wall of Georgia, and it has seriously deteriorated since Sam left Athens for Arkansas. So in terms of recruiting, I don't know what all goes into quote unquote here recruiting in this particular era. As compared to the way it used to be. But I do know that, when Pittman was there at Georgia, the Bulldogs and their boosters, not that there's anything wrong with that, man, they were absolutely throwing the cash and the benefits around. And that's part of the reason they got it going the way they did with Kirby. But here's the thing about it. It's not like they were the only ones. And so people like Pittman, the relationship side of it is something that you can see that he was just sort of a master of it. Just sort of and a lot of it, I think, with him probably is genuine. He genuinely comes across as somebody you could sit and talk to anywhere about anything and probably enjoy talking to the guy. And it wouldn't be fake either. I think that's another reason he's probably good at it. That's just what I think. Regarding the permanent schedule that's coming out, Sven says he thinks Texas will get Oklahoma, Georgia, and Texas A&M, or at least that's what he's hoping for. It'd be a pretty tough one right there. I mean, it really would. Yeah, and on the call, let's see. Jared commented on Facebook. He says, now he's hitting on my point of view that Tennessee will get up by 35 and then sit the starters and UAB will cover on the back end. But, how would you it's not a gambling thing. How would you blame Tennessee for that, right? One, keep them healthy. You're gonna get back into SEC play on the road the next week to a team that'd be licking their chops, try to pull some upset. It actually, if Tennessee gets up by 35, especially early, they will do that. And just call off the dogs and play the depth and ride it on out of there. I mean, that's what they will do. Oh, and Jared, I did get your comment earlier. I'm sorry I skipped over it, but we had the headline that Kansas and Arizona State are reportedly going to play each other next year in London, England at Wembley Stadium. And what I said was, that's so stupid. Why? And then the other question, the follow-up was, what if it was your team? What if that was your team? Would you be looking forward to them going to London to play a game? Jared responded and said, Wembley, England? We can't even fill up the stadium in Starkville. What are we doing? What are we doing? Recruiting kickers from the Football League? He said, I wish they'd take the state income taxes and rebuild Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium and have games rotate there as well as MHSAA, Jackson State. And he says that Mississippi Panthers, who's that? Not familiar. The Mississippi Panthers. All right, over to the text line. Gino says, Matt, you never been taken to the woodshed? Not literally. I've gotten paddlings and whippings with pieces of wood. Just never at an actual wood shed. Sure did. And I will say this, I deserved every single paddling and whipping I ever got, and I deserved the ones I didn't get. I deserved many more paddlings and whippings than the ones I actually got. Every one I got was good for me. Needed more. I'm being honest. It's tough, but it's true. Robbie commented he's our favorite Auburn fan, and those of us who are predicting Auburn to lose, he just wanted to tell us that he is keeping all the receipts. He's got them. He will remind us if we are wrong, and that'll be fine. And J-Rock texted and said Austin Simmons might not play because the other guy is better at Ole Miss. The other guy's on the all-name team, too. Miko texted and he said, Matt, I'm down here in Laurel, Mississippi. I don't think they know what the sonic boom sounds like in Laurel, Mississippi, if you know what I mean. Well, why wouldn't they? That's a real shame, Miko. It is. You think about it. If there's people in Laurel, they don't even know what the sonic boom sounds like. It's a real shame. They're really missing out. We probably should maybe play a little bit of the sonic boom just so that the people in Laurel get to experience a little bit of at least what it sounds like, don't you think? I agree. And again, left ear is out of commission, so I have no idea if this is the right volume or too loud or what. I just don't know. So we'll do the best we can. Come on! Thank you, Miko. And if that won't light your fire, your wood's wet. ResDog says, looking forward to MSU getting Bama, Georgia, and Texas as their permanent rivals, all on the road every year. Yeah, ResDog, that's how it feels, isn't it? Do you know that somebody was making the case in a conversation the other day I overheard? That, recently Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, had a daughter who graduated from Mississippi State. And they were making the case that because of that and because of the fact that, he had a daughter graduating there and it was public and some people knew, especially people around the league, that's the reason that he and his decisions and schedule making and stuff have been so tough on Mississippi State was to show them that he was not giving them any favoritism whatsoever. So they got the raw end of the deal. That's what I heard. What do you think? No, I agree. Yeah. Nothing to it. Get Bama, Georgia, Texas on the road. That's what ResDoc says. The eternal optimist, ResDog. Jason in Flagstaff. Tennessee could put their cheerleaders in and overwhelm UAB right now, says Jason in Flagstaff. This comes on the heels of Rooster calling us and telling us that UAB coming in inside of 40 points is the lock of the week. Dog Tired in Florence says, Proverbs 13:24 was in full effect in our house of 8 children. The first 3, including me, was the full recipient. So wait a minute. You got 7 brothers and sisters, Dog Tired? And you were one of the 3 oldest? You were somewhere in the top 3? So is Proverbs 13:24, is that the spare the rod, spoil the child verse? Let me look it up. For those that are just tuning in, if you're from out of town, we read scripture on this show from time to time and learn more about what God's saying to us in his word, capital H. Here you go. Proverbs 13:24 in the King James Version. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. Let me find something other than King James here. Hang on. You want to see what the Amplified says? Amplified says, he who withholds the rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines and trains him diligently and appropriately with wisdom and love. There you go. Spare the rod, spoil the child. All I'm saying is, dog tired, looking back on it, I got the rod, but I needed it and deserved it much more than I got it. I'd have been even better off than I am if they'd have whipped my fanny more. Let's see, unnamed texter says, Sankey is why MSU still has artificial noisemakers. Really? So he's a big reason why you still have them, huh? Else they'd get outlawed in here. We've never talked about this. I'm not trying to be a troublemaker or a fire starter by any stretch. But a question. If they were to say you couldn't have them, what would happen? Huh? What would happen? I think I know. I don't think it'd be pretty if they told state fans they couldn't have them. Mr. Sankey, he certainly has done more good than bad, more right than wrong in his time as commissioner, that's for sure. All right, rolling along with you, hour 2, back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau. All right, I'm back with you in the Bureau. Jason said in Flagstaff, what Bible verse covers dad's belt on your rear end and mom's shoe? And that's what we had. They whip you with a belt, and then mom will whip you with it. What about the fly swatter? You ever been whipped with one of those? That was a good old convenient one back in the day. In case there wasn't anything else around, just get the fly swatter. Wow. It would work. Good old corporal punishment. Nothing like it. Things really did start to deteriorate after once principals in school could paddle some kids behind, right? Everything was better back then, wasn't it? Wasn't it? Really at home more so than anything else. Yeah, that's right. Hey, listen, earlier in the week, I told you I don't necessarily go to the Jeff Levy press conferences. I'm not in Starkville in those days, but I do tune into them, and he does a really good job with them. It's not, you tune into a Jeff Levy press conference, it's not one of those deals where you get fed, a lot of coach speak and stuff that doesn't actually apply, like he's just trying to get through it. You can learn a lot about what's going on with his team and that kind of thing, what the mindset is. He's pretty honest about it. I think he does a good job with them. We got about 3 minutes of that covered, and there was about another 3 minutes or so and some really good stuff towards the end where he also talked about who are some of the injured guys they're hoping to see improvement with in practice this week, which would have been primarily yesterday, the day before, but throughout the week so they could get them to play this weekend. And I wanted to catch you back up. So here's kind of where we left off on that Jeff Levy press conference from earlier in the week.
What did you see from him after watching the film and how he could contribute?
Yeah, Ray did some good things when he got in there. There was some real physicality, which we love to see, and hopefully he can continue to build on that to be able to give us some quality reps inside.
Any update on Jed or Albert or something?
No, right now I do feel better about Albert. I feel good about Stonka. Neither one of those guys were cut loose today. Jed is getting back, but again, out of those 3 guys, none of them went all day today. So it's going to have to be the evaluation piece of it as we get later in the week. They need to be able to practice tomorrow and Wednesday for them to go play at a high level.
Where do you guys feel like your level of execution is overall relative to where you think it needs to be?
Offensively, as a football team, there's a ton to clean up. As we got into the team meeting this morning, I think guys understood that the score was what it was, but there was a lot of things that we got away with on Saturday. And that is the message. The urgency that we operate with to be able to fix the problems that showed up is a huge deal. Again, we were able to overcome some of those things on Saturday. that will not remain the same. We've got to fix it.
With last Saturday just being the first game without Will Whitson for a full game, how do you think the defensive line just performed without him?
Yeah, I thought Bam Bam, Tay, Red, Joe Head, all four of those guys did some really good things. We're going to need all four of those guys to play really well this week with what we're going to get on the other side of the ball. It's going to be a huge point for Saturday's game is being great against the run, being great on early downs, and we're going to need the D-line to play in a great way.
And your experience coaching, when you have a game like that where you're able to kind of open up the playbook and explore the depth chart a little bit more, how much does that help going forward, later into conference play and the rest of the season when you can evaluate those guys that you got behind your starters?
Yeah, it's huge. Being able to reward those guys to go play. We played 40 different guys on special teams. We were really clean from a substitution standpoint. So seeing those things play out the way they did was really good to see. Being able to play all those guys on teams so that creates depth later for us in the season. Who's another guy that's got the ability to go run down on kickoff or do a great job on pump block, whatever it is. That's huge for us as we continue to move it forward.
Now we're going way off topic here. There's a bakery in town that has a cupcake called the Levy. It's a chocolate cake stuffed with cream cheese Oreo and topped with cookies and cream icing and chocolate ganache. Did you have any input in the creation of this cupcake?
I think my wife did, but I need to stay away.
Okay.
But I do appreciate the shout out.
You've played a lot of running quarterbacks, and it's a little different, I guess. They run some zone read concepts in Northern Illinois, but when you look at this offense, a lot of wildcat stuff and the end arounds and stuff. Like what kind of stands out to you when you look at them offensively?
Physicality and the two running backs that they're playing with. Obviously the transfer 10 and 45. Both these guys are guys that have they really got the ability to make some chunk plays, but they've got real physicality in their game. And it's going to take gang tackling the entire day for us to get done what we want to get done. We've got to create great knockback so that they're off timing from a run scheme standpoint. But again, they're going to try to control the clock. They're going to run the football. They've been really good at what they do. Their recipe is exactly what it is, and we've got to do a great job countering that.
Coach, Fluff got the bulk of your carries, almost had 100 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Was it just a matter of him having the hot hand? You just kept going to him early?
Yeah, it was. And then as we were rolling those guys, Vaughn ended up being in on some of the short fields after getting the returns. And so that's just how that part of it played out.
What's it going to take to continue to develop the kind of depth necessary to not only finish with an undefeated non-con, but to get the most you can out of SEC play?
Yeah, it's all about how we practice. That's how you create development. Obviously, you've got to go play the game to be able to create trust. We're playing a bunch of guys. We've been able to play a bunch of guys in the first 3 weeks. We want to continue to be able to play fresh and fast and be violent both sides of the ball. So how we practice has got to be advantage us. The physicality on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, how we prepare, that is how we'll continue to create the depth we need.
Hey, Coach. Thompson's been your number one guy. What's been the biggest difference in unlocking his potential here versus his time at Oklahoma?
Yeah, I think, again, just from a system standpoint, obviously having Blake and being an older guy, we knew really exactly what we were getting. Again, if you watch the tape from him last year, the kid is open nonstop and played a ton of football. He didn't have a lot of production, but he was open a lot. And again, I had him that first year when I was in Norman. He was banged up, but when he played, he had production. Just it was very, very limited. So there's just no surprise about what's gone on with him.
Coach, we talked about Seth Davis the other day, and it was a feel-good story and all that, but at the end of the day, he's a really explosive player that could come out in this offense too. I mean, for his future now here in your offense, what do you see from him and his role in this offense, whether it be this year or beyond?
Yeah, the hope is that he can get all the way back healthy, and he's not there yet, and he knows that. Our medical team, you talk about doing an unbelievable job with the young man, has just been incredible to see what Thomas and his entire staff and our docs have been able to get done with Seth. And he's closer than he's ever been, but he's still not all the way there, man. The hope is that this guy can get truly back to 100% healthy, because he can be a problem.
Well, 3 games and 3 different offensive line starters, kind of been musical chairs there. I know you're probably more eager than anybody to get that settled, but do you worry a little bit about cohesion a little bit when they haven't had a lot of game reps as a unit?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's again, for us, that's something that's going to be a huge part of our success offensively, is playing the way we need to play up front. And we have. It's been musical chairs. Hopefully having Albert back, if he'll be able to go practice tomorrow and Wednesday, that will be huge. And then we can settle in. We do want to still rotate, interior at the guard position to be able to, again, be fresh. But we've got to settle on these 7 to 8 guys max to be able to go roll and go do what we want to do.
All right, so there you go. And, I go back to, there was a question about Will Whitson being out, and they just had their first game without him. Of course, it was against Alcorn State, but what that was like. And he rattled off pretty quickly 4 players, and I think 3 of the 4 were, he used nicknames. And so I jotted them down real quick for anyone that doesn't know. So the first one he mentioned was, he said Bam Bam. Well, that's the nickname for Trevion Williams, redshirt junior from Crystal Springs. He's been around for a while, 23. Where's 23? And this played every position you can play on a defensive front. They'll move him around some, but he's primarily an edge guy this year. Yeah, but Bam Bam, like the Flintstones. So that's Trevion Williams. And then he said Red, and that's obviously Red Hibbler. That's his name, but he's the grad transfer defensive end. He's from Louisville High School, but he went to NC State initially. And then I'm pretty sure he mentioned Ray, which is Ray Thomas. So not a nickname there, but that's the transfer from Northern Illinois, the team you're going to play this weekend, grad transferring a defensive line. And then he said Joe Head, so that's Joseph Head, who's a sophomore that played a bunch for you last year. And you rattled them off, boom, 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 almost sort of lingo within their team, and there may have been some that didn't know who he was talking about. That's the 4 guys that were taking up some of the slack. All right. A little bit of time left with you. When we come back in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
It doesn't matter that business took you 1,000 miles from home, or that you totally nailed the presentation, and that the team is going to be celebrating long into the evening. What matters is you were there to say goodnight.
Sweet dreams, honey. Mommy will be home tomorrow.
C-Spire nationwide 5G, inspired by the most important business of the trip.
Are we ready to order?
And right now, get the latest 5G phone on us. C-Spire, customer inspired. 5G not available in all areas. See cspire.com for details.
Football is in full swing, and Underdog is your prime play destination. Make picks on whether your favorite players go higher or lower on any stat. Touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions with just $1. Nail your predictions, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Here's what I've got in mind for the Cowboys taking on the Bears. I like Dak Prescott, higher than 2 touchdown passes. I'm also keeping an eye on the Chiefs versus Bengals. Give me Patrick Mahomes, higher than 3 touchdown passes. That's my pick. What's yours? Download the Underdog app, sign up with promo code THEZONE. Play your first $5 and score $50 in bonus funds. That's The Zone. Millions are already cashing in on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 or older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See asset.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ntpgambling.org.
You work hard to provide for yourself and your family, and that's why identity theft is so scary. Not only does it pose a threat to your financial well-being, everything you've worked so hard for, but it's also a danger to your family. Even children can be victims. It's not their money thieves go after, obviously, but their social security number. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock will fix it guaranteed or your money back. Act now and save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
This portion of the Matt Wyatt Show is brought to you by Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg. Ameristar Casino in Vicksburg is your place for quality entertainment. Be at the End Zone Sportsbook, where you can not only play the game, but watch any sport you want year-round. Check out Bella's on the second floor. Also the Heritage Buffet and Bourbon Steakhouse on the third deck. And don't forget about the Red Lotus Asian Cuisine on the bottom floor across from the End Zone. The Bottleneck Blues Bar on the weekend. So stay play and dine at Central Mississippi's premier gaming destination, Ameristar Casino Hotel. Gambling problem? Call 888-777-9696.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog. I can tell you firsthand how great new things can be. That's why the new auto and life insurance discount from Farm Bureau is so great. It's a new thing from the company that's been setting roots in Mississippi for over 75 years. Visit favrates.com for great rates on home and auto insurance. Or find a local agent at msfbins.com. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2706. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2706. That's 800-575-2706. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, whether it's about winning the game or even losing the game, you're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. Rolling along here on this Thursday. Got football tonight. Got one college game tonight. You get Bills and Dolphins tonight. You never know about the NFL, all right? You can't look at it with a college mindset, can you? I mean, Dolphins have been bad. Bills have been good. You just never know. You just don't know. I mean, expect the Bills to win, yeah. But I mean, even if you say blowout in the NFL, what are we talking about? 20 points, maybe? It's a whole different thing. Bama fan texted in on the show. We were talking about things we got whipped with when we were kids. The good old wooden spoon, big old wooden spoon, he says. Yep, that was a good one. Same subject, Jason in Flagstaff said the fly swatter was too easy to put a move on, a little stutter step. He said it's too easy to juke the fly swatter. And then Flowtown Ghost said everything went downhill when all the kids got a trophy for everything. No more losers. Everyone's a winner, no matter what. Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of that's true. I mean, it really is. A lot of that's true. You know, if you're of a certain age, you think about it, Ghost, if you're of a certain age, I think I'm in that age group where you're, quote, of a certain age, where growing up, you didn't win a whole lot. Did a whole lot more losing than you did winning. So when you did win, it was really cool. Because you couldn't just show up to something one weekend. Let's say it's like a baseball tournament. You show up, and in your group, there's 3 teams, and guess what? We finished third place. We get rings. It just didn't happen. And that stuff's so stupid. It's stupid. Jake from Yazoo texts and says, hope y'all had a great 29th birthday celebration. Hope Beeves got some Little Debbie's for his beautiful singing. They're on the way. On the way. My man put it out there, singing at the top of his lungs on the radio. We enjoyed that. And Andre from Jackson is predicting that Tulane will upset Ole Miss this weekend. That's from Andre in Jackson. All right, over to the Junction phone line. The Junction phone, fueled by Prince Oil Company. You can go inside of the Junction, put some fuel in your belly, and out at the pump, fuel in your gas tank, all in the same place. On line 1, it's Ready Teddy. What's up, Teddy?
Hey, Matt, glad you back with us today.
Thank you.
I know you don't watch. I know you don't watch a lot of TV, but have you or Steve seen America's Team about the Cowboys on Netflix?
I haven't, but Philip Prince, my cowboy-loving friend, has recommended it to me heavily. He's like, Matt, you have to watch it.
Well, I'm about three. I don't know. I'm almost done watching it, but I just got to tell you, Jimmy Johnson was so rough. I mean, I'm all for a hard-nosed coach.
Yeah.
But when he first came to the Cowboys and or the whole time he was there, he was running them ragged in practice. Well, there was one young player that was running. He'd been running so much he was laying on the ground, and Jimmy said, "What are you doing on the ground? Get up!" He said, "I got asthma." Jimmy Johnson said, "Asthma my tail. You can get up and go have some asthma on the other field." I mean, it was. I mean, he didn't say tail, but
yeah, right.
But he said, You can go have some asthma on the other field, and man, he was rough on him.
Mm-hmm. You know.
But it's worth watching for sure.
Well, what I was going to say, Teddy, I understand that a lot of the old school coaches and stuff, they were rough, and they probably did some things at times you couldn't get away with now if it went public and all that. But I, at the same time, I feel like that it is still true, even in today's game, that the teams who are in better shape physically and have been put through more, they usually play better. You know what I mean? And I just wonder, Nick Saban Alabama teams, and I just wonder how coaches, are getting that done in this modern era. I'd love to know how they get it done. They're getting it done somehow.
Well, the gentleman that hosts the morning show on the same station was talking about Rick Pitino figured out early on that, like when the basketball team was not playing well or messing up, it wasn't just to make them run. He said they know how to run, so he would just make them do hard basketball drills instead of just running wind sprints.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
And if you're going to punish them something they're going to need and use.
Yeah, right. Something that's actually going to benefit a technique or a fundamental or something. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It really does.
Yeah, but America's Team on Netflix, I'm not a Cowboys fan at all, but it's definitely worth it to realize the gamble that Jerry Jones took. He put everything he had just to acquire that team. Obviously, it's paid off, but still, that's a big time gamble when you put everything you got into one basket.
Mm-hmm. No doubt, but it's sure.
Matter of fact, if somebody wanted to do that today, I don't think the league would allow it. Say if I wanted to buy, the Saints for $6 billion, and all I had was 6.1 billion. 6.1 billion. I wouldn't get approved to buy the team.
You wouldn't, would you?
No, you don't have enough money.
Yeah.
No, you don't have enough money. We're sorry.
Well, if you ever do come across that 6.1 billion, Teddy, just holler at me. I'll go in with you.
I'm gonna need a radio guy.
That's about all I can do.
Call the game on the radio. but I put you in.
All right, appreciate it, Teddy.
Thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
Have a good day.
Yeah, good response there. Well, I will need a radio guy. The old school guys, they were just, at a different era, had different types of experiences. Each generation, I guess, comes up. You have these different experiences. It's funny because I was flipping through. There's this book in here in the studio. It was given to me by this guy named Chris Warner, who compiled and published this book. I don't know, it might have been 10 years ago. And it's there's several versions of it. This is one particular version, SEC Sports Quotes. It's a whole book, just page after page after page of quotes over the years from sports figures at the different SEC schools. And the book is divided up per school. So like, you go through it alphabetically. You're at Alabama and then Auburn, and then, you finish up with Vanderbilt in the back, and everything's alphabetical. But like in the Auburn section, I was flipping through there, and there was this quote from Liston Eddings, an Auburn defensive end, way back in the day, about their coach, 𝐁𝐮𝐫𝐽. And, State fans, they always kind of cringe a little bit. You start talking about 𝐁𝐮𝐫𝐽 because he was the guy who led the charge to get rid of State's cowbells back in the day. But whatever, he was a really good coach. And so this player of his, Liston Eddings, said about him, Coach 𝐁𝐮𝐫𝐽 was a true gentleman, but he had a mean, cold streak to do what he had to do. Now think about that quote for just a minute. He was a true gentleman, but he had a mean, cold streak to do what he had to do. This is one of his players describing him. Here's what's funny about that. Well, maybe funny is not the right word. Here's what's peculiar about that. You take anybody, I'll take people my age, okay, who we grew up, our parents were born in the, usually our parents were born in the 40s or the 50s. Our grandparents were born in the early 1900s. You say early, whether it's the teens or the 1920s or whatever, that's kind of when our grandparents were born. Okay, so we had, in some cases, parents, in a lot of cases, grandfathers, in a lot of cases, uncles and great uncles. Every now and then, some of us got to know great-grandfathers, some did, who you would absolutely describe them the same way. You would say, a true gentleman, but had a mean, cold streak to do what they had to do. Maybe that's still around a lot. I just think it was but certainly from a football coach perspective, old school football coach, you think about it, Teddy, the guys the old coaches who they came through college in the 60s, okay, and they were coaching in the 80s and the 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, high school coaches. There were a lot of true gentlemen, but they would have this cold, mean streak to just do what they had to do. Well, they had learned it from somebody. And Jimmy Johnson was that way. He and Jerry Jones, teammates at Arkansas for Broyles, right? For Coach Broyles. Absolutely the same description there would apply to Broyles. A true gentleman, but a mean, cold streak to do whatever he had to do. It's just true. All right. Thank you all for being here today and struggling through it with me. I appreciate you. I really do. I'll be better tomorrow. And we'll line up on a Friday and see where it goes. See if the Bills do indeed blow out the Dolphins tonight. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then. See ya.